So 87 for 17, we're just going to write an algebra problem for ourselves. So it says measure of an angle, and we have no idea what that is. So what are we going to put in algebra world for something that's a mystery to us?
X.
X. Then it has the magic word is. Equals 24 more than? Then plus, and then we have an algebra name for its supplement. What is the name from its supplement? If we were talking about an X before, now its supplement later, it would be. And now we'll have like an algebra thing to do. Anybody else, anything from 87 that I can do to try to help your page 87 along? So let's send those 87s on down to my part of the world. And then let's do the same thing with 96s. 96s. Does anybody have any kind of anything from 96 that you're looking for a little bit of clarity before you turn it in and me grade it and you find out, uh-oh. Do you have something that you already know is an uh-oh that we can...
How do you do 8?
8. Okay, so can somebody explain on 8 how we're doing those? Anybody have a memory? 97, number 8, what the system is? Let's try this. What's complement mean?
Complement when they add up to 180.
Warm. You had me until you said the number.
The measure.
Yeah.
Add up to 90.
90. So on 8, for complementary stuff, they have to add up to 90. So what we need to do is figure out what number is missing. If they give us the one angle and they want the other one, what math can we do to figure out who's going to make it add to 90?
Subtraction.
Subtract it from 90. So do 90 minus this, 90 minus that, just across the board. 90 minus each of them, and then you'll get a partner. If they give you an algebra thing, if I want to, like, let's say I give you A plus B, how can I show 90 subtracting that? Anybody have an opinion? If 90 subtracts this, what's that going to look like?
Put it in parentheses. And
Put it in parentheses and go
minus 90.
90 minus that. So you might, for some of the algebrons, it might look like 90 minus whomever, and that would be good enough. What if it was 20 plus x? They give us 20 plus x, and I want to do 90 minus that. I could do this. How can I make this better? Yeah, no, half right. It is, because what does this do in the world of algebra? Changes the signs. So I'd go 90 minus 20 minus x. 90 minus 20. Somebody yell. 70 minus x. On a test, that would be best answer. On a homework, that's probably acceptable for now. Just going 90 minus stuff. But if there's some numbers there, we can clean that up. Does that make sense? What if this had been a minus originally? My original wording, I go with a minus there. What would happen to that as I went? It would eventually become a plus, be a plus. But on number 8, we're just going to go 90 minus stuff, and if it's algebra stuff, you can just throw it in parentheses for now. More stuff, 96, yeah. 13. 13, I threw out there, unless you're an Algebra 2 history person, you're not going to be able to do 13 all the way. So I'm not going to sweat out 13 too much, but I'll get you started on 13. 13 says the sum, meaning, let's go back this way, sum means add, an acute I'm going to call A, an obtuse I'll call O, is equals 140. So from the first sentence, I'd write that. Then then they say sum, meaning plus, twice, meaning 2 times. They say the supplement of the obtuse. How can I write an algebra thing for the supplement of the obtuse? 180 minus for obtuse, agreed. And then they say 3 times the complement of the acute. How can we write an algebra thing for complement of the acute?
90 minus A.
90 minus A. It is means equals 340. But 2 equations with 2 variables, that's called a system of equations. That's an Algebra 2 thing. So if you've been through Algebra 2, I would ask those people to try it. If you picked something up from PSAT review and we did that kind of stuff and you want to try it, but I'm not going to lose sleep over 13 because it involves math we don't all know how to do. What we should be able to do though is at least create this. Like these have been on our quizzes. We'd want to be able to do something creative with that, but I'm not going to lose sleep over 13. More stuff, 96. Anybody, anything, 96? You want to have me help you make it better before I grab things from it? 11 and 12. Okay, 11 and 12 are going to be a lot like these that we just did and how you want to try to get those started. So like 11 says, what's the measure of an angle if its supplement? Anybody, what kind of algebra thing can I do for its supplement?
The 180 minus X.
180 minus x anytime they're talking about a supplement. That's why I've had that on the quizzes a bunch of times. Is equals 39 more than plus twice 2 times, and then what's the name that we use for complement? Agreed. Do you understand how that flowed? Now we would try to like distribute and combine like terms and try to have like Algebra 1 flashback. Are you okay on the Algebra 1 flashback? Maybe? Try it, see. 12 should be about the same as 11. Anybody else something?
I forget how to do some of this. Like,
Okay.
for that one, like, I forget what to do.
So let me make up another question just so I'm not solving the exact same thing. So like that's the same style,
Yeah.
just a different, it's going to take us to a different place, so I'm not doing the homework for you. So we'd go, anybody have an algebra opinion on this? Distribute. So this would be 240 minus 3x, while the rest of this just sits there. Good on that. Now, an opinion? Anybody?
Combine like terms.
Combine like terms, which will create
260.
260. Okay.
Get X is on the same
Get
side.
x is on the same side. So I'm going to add 3x to eliminate that. If I add 3x there, because we do the same on both sides, I've got 100 plus a 2x is 260. So 2x would be
160.
160 once we subtract the 100.
X equals.
So x would be 80.
Okay.
Okay with that? And then if they asked you for the supplement, if they say find the angle and its supplement, well, if the original is 80, who's its friend? 100. Because it has to make 180. If they said complement, then okay. Question about the algebra-ness of that? Anybody else 96? Anything from 96 I can go and hint you on a better path than whatever path you've been on? don't give me the 96s unless you are very confident it's as great as it's ever going to be. We gave some tips there. So if you're feeling like I can improve this based on those tips, let's improve it based on the tips. And I'll get the 96 tomorrow. If 96 is great and you want me to hold it, keep it safe, then I'll grab that, hold that, keep that safe. Let's go 98. But let's only go and look for now at the 1 to 6. Reading for tomorrow, there's a 4-7 to read. So in terms of 4-7, I don't have a prep paper to give you right this second, but I can run them off and you can come back later and get them if you want them. 4-7 is going to have 2 fill-ins and 1 very short theorem to state the theorem. So when you read the 4-7, only 3 new points, it's not a very big reading. 2 fill-ins, 1 short theorem to state the theorem. Then everything else is old. Some of it's coming off the quiz you just did, some of it's coming off of the quiz you did before that. It's a mix of 4-6B and 4-6. Because I think the 4-6 was like 30-ish, and then it shrank to 19, and now it blows back up to 31-ish. So it's all old stuff. If you want the study sheet, you'll just have to swing by later and grab it, because I don't have that handy on me now. But 4-6 is the read, that's the quiz tomorrow. 103, start that if you didn't. Question about what's going on. Yeah?
4-6 or 4-7?
4-7, sorry, 4-7's the read. Good call. Yeah, I misspoke that time. Let's do half-step proofs. Okay, on Friday, if you missed Friday, we did our first ever proof on the board. It was like a 6-step proof. What this paper is, it's basically like half of a step of a proof. What I've done is a statement, and what you're trying to do is come up with a reason on most of these. We can't do all of these yet. There's 1 or 2 words from 4-7, but we can do most of these, so we'll see what we can do. What is our most common type of thing we've learned this year? Definitions. So I would expect a boatload of definitions on this as reasons, with some other stuff mixed in as well. But let's start with 1. 1, we did our first proof of the year. What was the left column labeled for that proof that we did?
Reasons?
Left.
Statements.
Statements. So number 1 is statements. If you didn't do your 103 yet, the 103 asked you to do 2 proofs. And so you'd want to make the columns, label statements on the left column. The right column is reasons. So what we're doing for the rest of this paper is I'm basically giving you the statement and you're coming up with what reason this looks like. Does anybody have confidence in number 3 that you can identify the reason?
Definition of complementary.
It is the definition of complementary. I abbreviate everything. I would suggest you do as well. I just wrote DEFCOMP, definition of complementary. Can anybody find me the definition of supplementary on this paper?
Number 7.
It is number 7. They're almost the same, just the only difference is the 90 instead of the 180. So 7 is definition of supplementary. Name me another supplementary thing. What's another thing you have with supplementary in it?
Linear pair.
The name of the thing though. Like we have a definition of supplementary, what other supplementary thing do we have?
The postulate.
There is a supplement postulate. Can anybody find me the supplement postulate? It is 9. If 2 angles form a linear pair, then they're supplementary. That is the supplement postulate on 9. Do we have any other supplementary stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, what other supplement thing do we have other than the definition of supplementary and the supplement postulate? We have a supplement theorem. Can anybody spot me the supplement theorem?
22.
22 is the supplement theorem. I have to draw you supplementary angles, then more supplementary angles create a match, and then it just sort of automatically creates another match. So if 22 is the supplement theorem, what do you think 18 is? It is the complement theorem. It works the same thing, just with complementary. Let's go back to the top. 4. Anybody have a theory on 4? It is transitive. What catches anybody's eye that makes you maybe think transitive on 4?
The if and then.
The if and the then, but there's other things with if and thens.
There's 4 like things.
Yeah.
And
The if, then, and the and is a good tip. I'd say something else is the best hint though on 4 for a
there's
transitive.
like 3 groups.
3 groups, and there's even a thing I think's a better hint than that. The matching cues. Yeah, the middleman. Transitive always has what I refer to as a middleman. Thing equal cue, other thing equal cue, things equal each other. Those are all signals for transitive, but usually the giveaway for transitive is there's like a middleman. There's something that got in there twice. Who is transitive's friends?
Reflexive.
Reflexive. Let's find reflexive. Where's reflexive? 14 is reflexive. Who's the other friend in that club?
Symmetric.
Symmetric. Where's symmetric on this paper?
19.
19 is symmetric. Let's go back to 15. I drew you a picture and I told you BE plus EN equal BN. Anybody know what that is?
You mean 5?
Yeah, 5. What did I say?
15.
Okay, sorry, I meant 5.
Isn't it the addition property of inequality?
It isn't, but that's around somewhere. That is definition of between. I just write def bet, DEF, BET for that one. 5's the definition of between to let you add those segments up. How about 6? We've done 6 just like that on a test. 6, I type what you usually write. What is it that I'm asking for there? APE, addition property of equality on 6. How about 8? 8's picture looks a little bit like 5, but I put the B right in the middle and told you that AB had to equal BC.
Yeah, midpoint.
Definition of midpoint. So DEF, MIDPT, definition of midpoint. 10 looks a lot like, which one does 10 look a lot like?
Addition property of
Yeah, number 10 looks a lot like number
6.
6. What's different?
Well, that's subtraction.
Subtraction.
That's
So
SPE.
SPE on 10. 11 is picture based. Anytime I'm showing you this picture, what am I talking about?
It's
Angle
like the
addition.
angle.
Angle addition postulate. So AAP on number 11. 12 a theory.
Which is the definition for
It's the definition of a right angle. I mentioned Friday, a lot of the definitions tend to be two-way streets. Where else is definition of right angle other than 12? 20. I switched like the if and the then parts of the sentences, but the definitions work both ways. If it's a right angle, then the measure's 90. If the measure's 90, then it's a right angle. 12 and 20, both definitions are right angles. 13. What do you think? Lets you look at that and go, huh.
Definition of linear pair.
Definition of linear pair is correct. So I just write DEF LP. For right, I just wrote RT. For angle, I just draw the angle symbol. Like I didn't write, I don't think, one word on this whole paper other than statements and reasons. 15.
Theorem 4-4.
No. What is it? What kind of thing though? Definition. 15 is definition of perpendicular rays. Perpendicular rays are the sides of a right angle, so 15 is definition of perpendicular rays. Is there another one that's the definition of perpendicular rays? Because a lot of the definitions are on here twice. Anybody seeing? 23. 23 is another definition of perpendicular rays. 16, we don't know yet. That's going to be from the reading tonight. That's why I said 4-7. You have to read 4-7 for us to fully be able to do this sheet, but we're close. 17. If angles are congruent, then the measures are equal. What's that?
Definition of congruent.
Definition of congruent angles, yes. So I wrote DEF. I did the congruent symbol, which is this. So definition of congruent angles, that's 17. Is that on there again? Just backward, because a lot of the definitions, like I've said, are on here twice. 25 is also a definition of congruent angles. 21 you'd have to read to do probably, but maybe not. Even without reading, what do you think 21 is? Definition of vertical angles. We don't even know that definition. It doesn't even matter yet, but we can do it. It's just, if there's a word in there, it's at least 50-50 that the reason is definition of the word that's in there. So definition of vertical angles. 24 is a thing that we know. It was said during the period. I shot it down before because it's time to use it now. What thing tells you that right angles are congruent? That's theorem 4.4. Yeah, theorem 4.4, right angles are congruent. I think we did them all except for 16, so we'll worry about 16 tomorrow. Did we skip any? We went like all weird on the order, but I think 23 was definition of perpendicular ray.
And
19 was symmetric. SYMM is good enough for symmetric. TRANS for transitive. REF for reflexive. That's all good enough for me.
what was 18?
18 is the complement theorem. I just put COMP-PHM. Anybody else with a repeat? Anybody want to know how to abbreviate something? Any kind of questions about that paper? That'll be a quiz someday, so don't lose it. What that should have done is hopefully help you do a little bit of stuff with the page 100. 98 we looked at briefly. I did 7 for you. What 7 was, when we first did that in class, it was like, again, half-step proofs. They were doing statements, we were doing reasons, and that was trouble. 100, page 100 is the finish of that homework. Page, or number 8, number 9, that experience of what we just did with this maybe helps you do page 100, numbers 8 and 9. So if you didn't finish the 98 homework, because 8 and 9 have been making you mad, maybe things make more sense now that we did that. I don't know. You could take a look back over the page 100, and that's something that we will look at tomorrow is the page 100.